I'll try to call that in the future. So they'll come like this. Comes with five frames in here, and all of these will be in there. I must do my biggest number, because sometimes they can be, what is the?
You don't need to start or 30 minutes.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Start at 6:30.
6 o'clock. I'm gonna look at it. And we'll start on the big stuff. There was like an early Beekeepers thing. It's at 6:30, I would. Yeah.
No, the
And then
email
it
says
was-
6.
What?
You got it 6. That's why we're here.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we do those at 6.
Yeah.
I told you so it comes with file frames. And there's actually another big box. I think so it's something about like that, right? Like file fully frames. So what you do, you get this, you bring this home. Brush your boots off in your car. You brought it home for hours, and you don't. It's okay, you don't have to worry about having to have a vehicle with the outside area. And then once you got it home, hopefully you've already got all this done, so you have the house set up. I call this the feeder frame, which represents, you know, those some people have internal, I have internal feeder, some people do. So that's my feeder frame. So you put it next to the wall, okay? And then you're gonna have two, so this doesn't have one, but two undrawn frames on either side. And then this is called a follower board, and it's just to like limit the space that the bees are in. I'll learn that in just a second, but you put the follower board there. I didn't. And then it's the 5, actually 5 right up next to my feet. There. You get it when all that is done, you just open this up. And you literally just make sure they're in the same order, same direction, everything. And you'll just take it like this and just set them in there like that. And you'll just keep transferring them over. Do you have to have the you at home for a certain amount of time? And is it sitting in for certain days or just in mine was I literally brought mine home and did this right here. Okay. And I have read stuff where some people said to do that. I did. Okay. Sure, 1,000 ways of doing things. Yes, sir.
Can you just have, 5 frames of undrawn, foundation in there, and then throw a slide in there with it?
You could, that's what I did. I'm not saying I did it right, but that's what I did. Actually, I had an 8 frames, it's a little bit smaller. A lot of times they recommend the follower board because the bees don't like that much space. They want to be kind of compact and confined, right? So you would keep this in here. So once you get all of these over here, and the rule is 80%, like once it gets to, or 70 to 80%, once it gets 70 to 80% full. So these are 70 to 80% drawn column. And you would take this out and continue replacing it. And you could replace, probably do it one at a time. Slide these over. One on this side. So they would go like out from the center.
And you have to have feeder in your box.
You don't have to. I do. Here's the other one. This is what another difference is.
So you don't have to feed them?
You do have to feed them. Well, I've never not fed them. I would highly recommend to feed them. You don't have to have an internal feeder like this. You could have the feeder that like sticks in here and has the jar. You see people do that. Hannah, she does a like a chicken water, and she fills it with food and puts pebbles in the bottom so they don't drown. Sure. You do really need to feed them because again, you're only going to have 5, and sometimes not all 5 of this will be drawn out. Okay. So feeding them is just going to help them at least get the frames, excuse me, the comb drawn out. And sometimes that makes sense, right? So they're not having to work so hard for their food while they're trying to build their house.
Right. Taking the class, they talked a lot about feed and different times and how much to feed, but if you're getting a nuke and so you're starting a fresh hive, what's the feed? What kind of feed are you putting in?
Right now, you do a pound of sugar to a pound of water. Okay. Now, a pound of water is like 1.9 to 2 cups. Right. You might as well say 2 cups. Sure. And then a pound of sugar is 2 cups. So you're going to get almost to like 1 to 1 each. when I was making mine, I would just get whatever jar, I didn't even measure it, it's like whatever jar cup I had, same amount of sugar and the same amount of water, mix it together. So it's all dissolved in there.
When you're looking at a nuke, where's some signs that this is a good solid nuke, or I see a problem?
I hope you don't say, oh, you just follow it.
I was not too, but I mean, like,
I would say a lot of these, and they're working, the queen is gonna be in there, so this is the queen. Excluded. Queen cake, thank you. These would come in like, these are packages, right? But in newts, when you buy newts, the queen isn't gonna be in a cage or anything like that, she's gonna be out like this. So she's gonna be laying eggs and doing stuff like that, so hopefully you're gonna see the eggs, you're gonna see the brood, all stages of brood up to calf brood. And that's gonna be, they have a lot of brood, but some honey, and again, some honey.
Well, if you buy them from me, it will, some of them next year was solid fragrance.
And that's really good, because then you get more bees, right? And again, I wouldn't worry so much about the honey, because you're gonna,
okay.
that's it.
Spray that 1-to-1.
Oh, yes, thank you, that's it, like this, it's brand new, okay, just get like a spray bottle. Just like spray it, spray bottle, just spray it on here, very heavily. That entices them to start building the foundation. This is the same sugar water, so some of, usually what I do is when I'm making it to feed them, I will just take it and put it in the little squirt bottle, nice little bottle in my fridge. It says.
I was gonna say, that's not gonna stop me.
This means sugar water. If you do have kids, I will tell you, my kids actually like to be food, so that's sugar.
Are you inspecting?
Oh, yeah, I was right. Well, you're right too, like a lot of people will mix vinegar in it, a little bit of vinegar, and I don't know why the bees like that, but they just.
You mix it with vinegar or lemon juice, or we also carry something called provo.
It also keeps it from molding.
That is really for the whole part. Now, there is a lot of stuff outside, which can help keep the roll outside. That helps a lot. But if you're just trying to keep it from molding, you change the pH, so you don't put lemon juice or.
I just use some cider vinegar, that's what I had.
How much?
You tell them what I do.
I'll tell you what I did, I just made one look. I made a gallon of food and, I know that's not very scientific, it's just,
And it's going to.
I probably did with that.
Cider vinegar or orange juice. If you ever have, juice sweet, you got a feeling you could put it on there, it would slide. That they like.
Are you inspecting the frames?
I did, just because I was curious more than anything. I would probably recommend you do that. I'm trying to think when I put up. My husband was, oh, this is the job I was. This one, yeah, this is what I came. When I got mine, I don't think I found my queen, but I knew she was there because I seen eggs.
That's the worst case, if you got home for some reason, it's in the bottom. But as long as you got eggs,
You're good.
you're good.
Yeah.
Because don't panic over that. It just means.
My queen.
Probably here, it's over friends. So you saw a break, this way pulls up. She could get.
Yeah.
But worst case, you got eggs.
Yeah. Mine was that she was supposed to be marked. I think she was, once I finally found her later. But, yeah, but they were like, I guess they don't make all that. They don't make that color. So.
They smell better. It's probably something to smell.
Yeah. Once I found out she was there. She just. That's what, so yes, I look at it, make sure there's, all stages of the eggs. Don't really worry about honey, if I get some a little bit of honey. But, some.
And the ones that I'm getting, come from South Carolina, they're making me stop just over there. That, the day before I pick it up, the state inspector goes through everyone, to make sure there's clean. So she was in there, at least they were alive.
Right. I mean, yeah, like you said, you could, like, it could shift around in here or in this one.
This one's worse, because they don't have that. But the guy actually retired next to this cardboard box, so I'm trying to sell the business to me. He's like, away from it, he's like, it's not on the contract there. But he won $50,000.
I see, yeah.
We went building to the center.
Oh, no, anyway, yeah. I'm working 12 hours, so it wasn't quite that.
Do you have to put them in a bag to transport or they over there?
They're fine.
This should be shut. I have one customer out of 28 last year that said, when we got to the interstate in the store, some of them got. I don't know how they got out. I mean, it's, you know, it should be shut.
Now, we had one like this, we didn't have that, but I usually in the car.
That one was a little bit, so there's screen on the front of that.
It's actually got an inner and outer cover.
Yeah, those people leave the snow around.
I did the last weekend. And I put them in a medium tin fry. Screen bottom. Shoot the peas in. Screen bottom of the board. Yes, there was, where did these come from? I know I set it up. Yeah, the Robin, the little Robin, screen on the front, all that, everything. Be careful here.
And wrap. It's almost like.
I saw bags. No.
Yeah, don't do it, as long as that. So mesh.
But yeah, they had all that.
When you put your, are you locking it down to there like percolating out that? In it is like it's that one like.
They'll come out and they'll notice like, oh, I'm in a. They're like, oh, I'm in a different place, and they'll do their orientation fly. Good.
Do you leave them and not check on them for so many days? Or do you check on them the next day, or that like?
You're the good beekeeper, right?
Yes.
You're gonna be out there less than 2 days.
Just because you're excited.
True, true.
But that's okay.
Well, that's how we, there's something I'm not supposed to do.
No, I mean, at that point, if you wanna go in every 2 to 3 days, that's fine. I don't know what y'all do. Would you? I would do every day.
It's a learning. It's plain.
They need to unload after their trip. So if you can alone for a couple of days, that would be good then.
Yeah.
So maybe give them a chance to 3 days.
Sure.
Is there a better time to like, or when she get home? Evening time, morning better.
No, I don't think it really matters. We did ours in the evening, but that's years ago.
And that is,
Oh, is it?
that might not, they'll be, the next morning when the sun rises, they'll rain.
Okay.
But if you got them at 10 a.m. in the morning, it'll make, it's not, they're not gonna fly. Especially if the moose are close to Florida. They gotta feed.
What about the? Yeah, well, started out, seasonal labor. Yeah, I found for me. Be helpful.
The other thing I did, the very last thing that I did was my brushes. I took my brush and kind of like a pretty gentle about it, but I brushed all of this out. All of them kind of like angle it, lean it up against it. Something like that. Something like that, no walk. I brushed mine out, just it's really windy. It's really windy in my house, and I knew like, this is not good. It's not gonna stay there. So I brushed mine out and just brushed it into the box and then just took the box.
Just don't have a YouTube you watch. You watch commercial beekeepers, they're like, bam, you know, and then the
Yeah.
backyard beekeepers, like my wife, she's just like, you know, I'm like, I ain't got time for that.
I was scared.
You know,
I was scared my first time. That's why I was like. Watch out till you work that.
I did try back to like,
Yeah, so that's a, you've got your package, if you, so, plus the nice, everything, right? You get a package, and it's like that, and that's, you're just getting beets, you're not getting any of this, I would, it's a lot cheaper, but, say this, wouldn't say it's riskier, but it's not established, yeah, there's no, it was scary for me, in all honesty, so.
Most of them, 135. Lucas is running around 200.
So the packages. I've never done one of those, I'll tell you what, everybody's told me to do. He's got one, but you'll come in, the queen will be in the cage. You'll take this off, all right? Okay. You'll do, Very good. You're ready to work my down. Good. And then you take the wood. And then you just take this and just, that's right. Bang. So she would come in. There's this type of queen thing, and this is another type. I bought a queen and something like this. And you could just set this down in there. There's gonna be candy in there, they call it candy, but it's gonna be something that the bees will eat through. And the time it takes them to eat it. Activate her so they can kill it.
How many days is that?
That's a lot.
It's not long, it doesn't take long.
Yeah. That's another.
I had this one, I just did it like this, just punched it off. You just have to be careful, because. Thank you, Nancy. So like on this one, you put it in, just to make sure that you're not like. That's what I do. I work in the morning. I just do it like that. And you're gonna have that frame that's a little bit wider. 2 or 3 days later, you just take it out and move everything over, move it together.
Well,
And you want the open end, and that's gonna come out on top and on the bottom. Right. Oh, she doesn't have to pay attention to that. Yeah, when she has attendance. Oh, okay, well, that way you always have to have. I don't know. This is on YouTube, but I'll just tell you, again, I've never done practice voice on YouTube. But there is a thing on YouTube that I watched that where you take it and you set this down.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
No climb like that. I saw one. Oh, really?
Well, you did, but I gotta
that's like.
always listen. Instead of.
That worked good for me.
There's no dumping. They call it foaming dump. Spray themselves out, it needs cleaning themselves with that straw. Drop it, about that far, not long. Bump it, they'll all fall to the bottom. If the queen's inside, take the queen out. I don't get that kind of thing. You just put that on top of the bottom.
So if you do that and you put the queen right on top of the box, you still do it queen right. Okay.
And you do that before you do that.
Yeah, come right out, they mark right out. The next one, do just a couple bees in there, and I'll pull that shit off. Set it on the ground, it's about 10 or 12 bees in the thing.
That's really quick.
Yeah. Yeah. and-
Yes, then you would take it out.
and I'll think about that. There's that 2 or 3 dead ones up there, they're all off.
That's probably where you found.
Oh, you'll get plenty of time to see it.
And like, so you put them all together, maybe put. Start with 4 and see how you do it. And as they fill those out, it's 80%, they're not 80%. Start adding.
About 2 weeks back before we go inside.
Just 2 weeks.
And it'll be ready for the next time.
Oh, probably. It was all fine, all You can keep the spring bottle of
There's something called slab.
It'll bring it to the bottom.
Do you know the success rate of news versus packages?
Mine's gone pretty much. They're all. Now I have all package and the same supplier in my order for here. Same time I got sold both sides by side. In 2 months, you couldn't tell how long it's been for 1 week. But the package, it's not a slow, swarm wax much faster than. Because that's, they filled the wells. It's more important.
With the Duke, they just, it's like a little baby hive and the beekeeper has just started. How do they get the bees for the package?
So they have hives that produce, they've got 2 people doing it. One's on the scale, rods.
Sure.
The other one's going through the frames, shaking. At that point, they, before they do that, stains before that, it cleans, so they know queen's in the bottom.
Sure.
It's like a chimney thing. Shake the frame, shake the frame. These are nurse bees that shake off. So we don't need to- And once that got to the scales and the eventually balanced, I didn't think about that they.
So
The
if
cans
they're
is-
going right in,
It can't be,
This just water.
so what's in that package? One time. It's a really strong highlight. But their mothers look like that. Now, have that packages. It's a big cage. Which meant they had two queens in there. Or somehow they cleaned up. So, those two were not as strong as the one that just had one queen. I should have just off and put it all in one. The way I discovered that, is the package, I went in there, and they weren't crawling out. So I went back to 3 days, they still weren't crawling out. After 5 days, they still weren't crawling out, so I took the package out. Shopping around, they were crawling inside the box.
Is that kind of yeah,
Yeah, that's the one that came from Mother House. So, if you have a fine feeder, you put that
No, once you take the can out, you can just set this down and you just take this away.
open it up, pour sugar water in,
Yeah.
and whatever you're going to see.
Yeah, yeah, you could do that too, but.
yeah, it's just hot. So there are positives and negatives in both ways. With the package, you're getting all adults, so let's say a cold spell comes through and your supplier shipping to you. Adult bees can take being frozen, actually, put them on 0 degrees, thaw them out 2 days later, and they start moving. The new can't do that. But the quantity of bees, probably they can keep cleaning one, that's the important thing. And before they package these, you're supposed to treat the hives. So you shouldn't have a world that doesn't mean you don't, because you can treat today, next day, you're 100% free. They go all through it, and 2 days later, it's 1%, 2%. So that's plenty of control. Same with the package. The newts are supposed to be treated before they come. That's why the state inspector inspects them before they come to the state.
Don't turn your head over the walls, either way, you want to treat it. At the beginning, I refused, because I was like, you lose your leads. You got to control.
I still like that. I use oxide in like 8 years.
That's not check, that guy's not. He doesn't have-
So I got the 5 frame and the 10 frame, and somebody else published that.
What he's referring to is there's this device that you slide into the front and you plug it in.
106 degrees kills everything except these, like even the cat brood, if there's a real long, kills everything. But so I would imagine if you're in a desperate state.
Along that line, I put my shoes, where sun comes up, down, it's got full sun.
I actually had some times when we painted black because I was sort of thinking like, okay, jam. I painted some of them black with the full sun screen box. Let them all.
Oh, there we go. We'll just roll through these real quick. So it starts out with the package. And that box is so much this box, right? Oh, that was the picture there. See the queen?
Yeah.
She's got some burgers with her in there. I think that this may come from attendance. There, your spray, you're gonna spray your. Alright. Y'all let me know, because I've already. So when you get your one. The website says 6 o'clock recording now. But the meeting's at 6:30.
I ain't no mind, it's like 600 like I want.
Anyway, that's why it's normally 6:30.
Well, I sorry, I'll be here, that's fine. So when you bring it home with your new courier package, you kind of got all your stuff ready to go. There's no double question. Sure, the sugar water, like their feet, usually I make their feet, and when I have to make their feet, I'll just. Next. No, this is like.
Pretty much.
You need to just let it spray on, take that out of the hot water, about 30 minutes, sugar, every quarter. So all riches. So that's the riches that you guys see. So there's your sugar. Usually they're in this or you'll be in something like that last box. I think they got that last box now. This is what I said. All right. So that's what we got. I think it depends. It's
John, yeah.
he's the one that told us.
Everybody else, he's like, nah, I don't remember. Come on.
No, that's fine.
When I asked if you remember, I put yes, and I was like, that's a questionable yes.
Take two.
That was a try.
All right, we'll use the PowerPoint as well. Okay, so this is what you're doing like this.
No butter
You're
intended.
getting home. You're ready for that.
No.
You're gonna have your box ready, everything's gonna be good to go. I've got this labeled as finger frame. Use an internal finger frame, you've got that. Whether you use an internal finger frame, whether you use the mason jars on the front, or, you know, actually use the chicken bar. Which is like, yeah. So it looks like this, you've got everything ready. Then you're gonna take your foundation and you'll spray it with the sugar syrup as well, and that just gets it.
The sugar water too.
Amount of water is all. Point zero. One it's 1 pound of water to 1 pound of sugar. Well, 1 pound of water is 4.92 cups. Okay. So a pound of sugar is 2 cups. So that's why I just. So the sugar water is the same thing as this is what I do. So whenever I make I'll just take some of that and pour it into one of those spray bottles you get and I'll just use that. It's the same thing.
You're spraying it on the.
I spray it on the foundation. It makes it, it's enticing. So when you get it, whether it's a package, especially, but a package or a new, you're gonna want to use that. Even at ten, I continue to speak mine because mine was continuing to pull the coffee. I can do mine for. Oh gosh. Until I show them. They won't use that. Because there have been other going on.
The guy said, just pull the finger before you get the second box.
Yeah. So you're gonna get it like this, it's gonna come, you can bring it home. You know, there's stuff first, spray that. And then open it. And take, make sure they're in the same
instruction saying, you'll just take these out.
Okay, now what I did was kept one frame, empty frame. I kept one empty frame on either side. And then as they, the wool was 80%, as they pull it to 80%, they will start adding more. This is a bottle board, and that just keeps them tight. So once they build out all five, they get all five, make sure that these are starting, then you can take this out. That would probably be so that's for a new. You get a packet. Sure.
The day you bring that, you get out properties.
I did it as soon as I wrote it. Set it on top of the box like this, and then I just this is a new, we're doing a package. Hey. It'll come with the clean, I'll send you these are just different types of containers here. So you take, I need to top off. Take this out. They said spray it first, but spray it with sugar water. Don't fit anything. What it was not. What do you have? That's one way of doing it. Other way. Oh my God. What do you do now? Another way. You just set it down. I have to it down first in my hands. You have to it didn't work. And then you're gonna have your wings up those set up. You're just gonna stick her in between the frames like that. She's gonna have fun. Up to 5. You don't know how long it's gonna take to do that. Yeah. So now that you've had by the time we get it out, that's like that. So that's what the only wrong way is to kill her. That's pretty much earlier with Luke and so you bought it if you're buying a new gift, you know, please send us, yeah. Can I ask who from? Yeah. I don't know, for somebody I didn't. So what is like, when I sell the food, I make people point to the queen, and I show them the eggs, because I want them to know when they drive away, they've got it, and they're done. I'm sorry. So there's nothing wrong with, this is completely off topic, so I apologize for anybody else, but if you're getting the new, I would look at the middle frame, I said, yeah. If the person that you're talking to is really talking to you, you're not there with 50 people, ask them, can I see the queen? Find the queen, even inspecting it yourself. Most of the activity should be on the middle frame. You know,
You're gonna have, fruit on the middle three frames for sure, and then you're gonna have probably just honey and, some strong. You should have 5 solid with strong. That answer that?
It was hard. She said,
Oh,
she said, do you? It's like, no, it's okay. I put it that way. She asked me a little question. That's what I share with everybody.
expecting the new bird.
Yeah, like when you get home, like.
Well, if you win it tonight, then I'll tell you it's gonna be fine. So, talk about swarms. Any other questions? Yeah, exactly like that. Oh, yeah, call me. And I took I had an order of 50 green that came in, and it was, they stopped doing USPS, they do FedEx, FedEx has a rule for live animals, must be arrived by 10 AM. So they will put it on the door, and they knock on the door, and they're like, there's a box that says live animal in the airport. They come, that's the US Postal Service. Live chicken. Part of the game. Let me see what I'll go. How big my chicken?
Pretty good. Hey, fun fact, look up far enough back, just be able to mail things. No shit.
Yeah.
They'll get them back.
Yes. But anybody else on the?
How long will you wait? As well.
Yeah, so we can talk about the cycle of the life, so, because you also remember that these babies that are going in, they're all older babies. Okay, there's no baby babies, right? So what actually will happen is all of those bees in the box are gone in 6 weeks, 7 weeks. So that's why there will be a decrease in population before you have an increase in population. There's going to be a 6 to 12 week. Those are packages, and that's for packages. But you have no bees right now in your package. Anybody else no bees in a package? No bees in a package. You come, okay. Different. Okay. And I will answer any question you have about that. For you, since you seem to be the only one that's doing this, anything that concerns you in this?
If the bees are sick or just like dead bees in the bag.
I've seen packages come with bees about like that. All the bees that small. For whatever reason. Feed them twice as much as you do. Okay, for the package.
Is there not usually a guarantee on like?
Most of the people that you buy a package from, they'll have some kind of guarantee. If it actually comes to that, assuming you're picking up from. Okay, somebody here, yeah, so for the most part, they'll do pictures, they'll be fine with that. Everybody gets really shipped, but yes, there's a guarantee. Anybody else?
How long are you feeding them?
Until they stop taking it.
I just told her, I got none in the spring and I fed them.
When they find the real deal, they'll get it.
Until they stop.
I fed them weights.
That's like the only time you can start a business when you're out of build. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, when they find something better, they'll do it.
Yeah, there were times I would go in there and get a food, this is fine.
You gotta remember. You're dropping them on empty frame. Okay. In a new package, they're pulling from scratch, from nothing. So they need all the sugar water they can. Two friends, that's what. That's not saying to do too. And you can, the advantage of the doing that situation is you can ask them, or I said, where that's not screwed up. What's in there? Then you're still got to go. It's gonna take time for them to build. Like, actually down.
I know better affects me. I know the problem. So we're bringing in the spring warmer to us. Like I said, is there a reason to not come out and look at it, looking at your meetings and stuff?
Right there, or if it's a different.
Again, I didn't know all of it, but I think a lot of it. So, you know, these days where we get something like this, we don't have to listen to this question and then we can.
Those are the guys that like, journal.
Yeah.
So you don't have to.
Okay.
Look at all, see it all.
We're doing this.
It's still the same. It's the same one for that. That's just me. Yeah. You pointed at the people and said that was really right there. So,
They also said they were really confused. We've got rooms, so it's now, if we choose to package, or something happens to you, then you just order another.
yeah, what do you do? Yes, she's out of guys. But the number one reason why queen is killed. Yeah.
But it's in the separate.
So they just take it up there. It's out of the store. But
Those are strawberries. I'm just right. So y'all need to hire constituents. You need an assistant. Is it mostly in this area? Well, it's okay.
listen, I'm gonna have to take care of you. Don't worry. Hey, how are you? Deborah Reason. Just called her. Nope. We're gonna get started. Set up, so I'm excited about it. The wildflower.
I've had some. So I got into it the first year. words, but I used to tell people, don't have bees first year, come to the inspections. First time I had to go that, I drove beautiful. We had to keep it running for 5 minutes. You had to inspect until the state inspectors were saying, because they were certified. So they did a little backwards. They did with the plants. But it's a lot different on the board versus fighting bees. I grew up on a farm. My grandma's from Iowa. She said, go to college, get a job in immigration. So, they never did how to get the answers. Quasi bodybuilding. He says, come here now. She got me exercise. I just turned 67. Oh, I understand.
Zoom set up, we're good to go.
It's a little bit after 7. So I guess kind of finish socializing and just start reading. A few people trying to sit down. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Oh, welcome to the meeting. How's everybody's bees doing? Everybody's doing good? Great. So we're gonna do the Pledge of Allegiance, the flags over to y'all's right. Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, we've got a big crowd here. So I'm anticipating some new members here. Or even if you haven't joined it, you're just testing us out. Raise your hand if you're new. It's like about 8 people. So I'd like to go around from this way, have y'all introduce yourselves. So
Matt, Christie Smith.
Christy Smith, and I guess also what part of Johnston County or neighboring counties are you from?
Where's Bob's going? It's Johnston.
Okay, well, thanks for driving that way.
We're Daniel and Karen McKnight, and we are, I guess technically some of what we're sort of like the flowers plantation, 2296.
It's a growing area.
Yes.
Okay, somebody else over here?
First name you get from Raleigh.
And what's your name?
Chris and Amy.
His name, oh, okay, I thought you were, well, Amy, that is. Okay. Great.
My name's Dylan, I'm barely in Johnston County, so I live in Wendell, North Carolina.
Great. Any other news? Oh,
John would never read that one from Forest.
long ways to go. One more. Okay, well, thank you for coming. I know some of y'all are here further than others, and we appreciate it. How many new beekeepers who, this is their first year, even if you may have just gotten notes or something, but how many of y'all are new? Okay, and have all of y'all took classes? Yeah, okay. If you haven't, JCC will be starting another session. Is it going to be at the beginning of the semester, Chris? April 11th.
So it'll run through midsummer, we'll finish up with a big, big honey harvest.
Okay, big hunting harvest during that, hopefully. Okay, so if you have any friends, won't take any classes, JCC offers a good course. Okay, so next on the agenda for this month, for the new people here, we usually do a presentation that's somewhere between 40 minutes to an hour. And so tonight's presentation is going to be on swarms and swarm traps, because that's the time of year it is. And there's no better way, more exciting way to start a hive than to go and capture one in the lot. So Nathan Adams is our presenter tonight. He's been a beekeeper for quite a while. How many hives do you have? 11. So he's got 11 hives. And he helps with a lot more than that. So I'm going to turn it over to him.
Hey, Nathan, there's a set of mics up there for questions.
Okay.
You just have to cut it on and off.
Let's see your. John, did you set the swarm one up on the PC?
John, can you, where's the, hold on. Go to, escape from the computer. Okay, get out of there.
There it is. You're right. That's it.
Okay, everybody, now we got the computer working like it should. I'm Nathan Adams, and, I've been keeping these for 7 or 8 years now, and, most every hive I have currently originated from a swarm. First year I put out swarm traps, I caught 6 swarms. Did that again the second year, and at that point I had enough hives to manage. So, okay. Let's see, we have a swarm trap over here. Let's sit right here. Everybody see that? All right. Now on the on here, this YouTube video will tell you how to build this swarm trap and tell you all the parts you need and everything. And it's worked real well for me. And I'll start out with we start with an empty frame, and it's good to have a starter strip in it because if bees have something to go by, they'll roll straight cone. But if they don't care. And then, so typically I'll put 2 of those in the trap, and then I'll put 1 frame of drawn cone in there. The idea behind this is to, bees want to see a certain amount of space, and it doesn't have to be that big, it doesn't have to be that small. But they want to see a certain amount of space when they go in, so that's the idea behind the no foundation in those 2 frames. This frame with the foundation already drawn on it, that gives the place for the queen to start laying immediately. Because they'll be drawing on that and bringing in food. And if she can lay immediately, then you got them good, because once it's brood there, they'll stay. And when you mount the trap, you can, I typically like to put it on the side of a tree where there's shade and not in direct sunlight. And along a fence line or edge of the woods. Oh, yes. Okay.
And then, if you look at the last page of the agenda, I printed this stuff there.
this particular picture is a swarm trap that John and I put up along in the, low grounds near Goose River. And as you can see, it's in the shade of that tree. And that, we caught a couple of swarms on that tree. And then, here's another one that's, this is the one that's mounted down in the apiary here. And, they've already called a swarm in this year, from what I understand. And of course, there's along the fence line, and that's the other thing about it. It doesn't have to be, a certain height or anything like that. I've caught swarms with swarm traps sitting on a cinder block.
Would you typically have 50% of your trap wide open? I don't know. Are those 8-inch?
No, they're deeps.
So.
So,
okay,
yes.
You got about 6 inches. Is that typical?
Yes, it's not required, but it's, that's the way the plan worked on that one. You could use a regular high blocks as a trap.
Is that the one that Tom Seeley said he figured out the size?
I don't,
A certain number of liters.
30 quarts.
30 quarts.
30 quarts. Possibly. Sorry.
He said 30 quarts was about average.
About average here.
I believe that he, once he measured in a forest in New York.
Okay.
These were all feral hives that he visited. And he measured the cavity size, he measured the average opening, the average height off the ground, and wrote about it. And I can't remember what that was it, but it's out there. You look up Tom Seeley.
Honeydew democracy. That's the name of the book.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
You want hives in the sun, but you want swarm traps in the shade?
Yes.
Reason?
Well, the bees, if a tree, most any tree holly you see is going to be in the shade.
Because you're putting it in the sun, you're trying to help lower your varroa mites and your hives. Bees really would choose that on their own. I think that's.
Yeah.
Would you say that the higher up you go, the higher percentages of catching the swarm are because all the bees and natural predators are ground based predators? Like that they would, if you had equal traps in the same spot, what's 4 foot off the ground, what's 20 foot off the ground?
I don't know if they would try that, but,
You catch them you catch them on accident, man. I had to go get them out of the dude's RV with the logos in the RV.
yeah. Well, like I say, I had one of those swarm traps sitting on the cinder block.
Right.
There.
And you catch them on accident.
The first ones I put up, I put them, I got a ladder and put them up high, like, everybody said, but,
It's cool to see you bring them down full of bees. Nervous as hell.
exactly, yeah. And I didn't burn it, I just put them at a comfortable height and let it go at that.
If you're catching all the swarms you want to catch, really,
Okay, and this is a swarm that, John caught down on his farm. And this particular swarm didn't want to go into hive right start, box right start with, so, evidently the queen couldn't find her way into the hive. So, but as soon as she goes in, they go in with her. And, this particular hive went to Brent Spivey's house to pollinate watermelons, and then, the queen was moved to another location, and the hive was allowed to raise a new queen. And then that hive was later put in the horizontal hive out here, the ag center, our handicap hive. Need to check the swarm traps, one back up, one other item. When you put the swarm trap up, you need to get some, swarm commander, which is basically a combination of lemongrass and some other things that the bees like real well. Do not use a lot, you just mist it. What I do is mist it at the entrance of the hive, at the little slot. You can't put too much of that in there. So just use it sparingly. And, another thing we do is take a paper towel and spray it with the swarm commander, stick it in a sandwich bag, not freezer bags, sandwich bags, seal it up and drop it in there and it'll be good fall season.
Nathan, how do you arrange the frames in that box? You put that drawing frame in the center?
Yes, I put it in the
On
center.
one side.
Yeah, I put it in the center.
Do you find that the swarm boxes placed in the same location every year tend to catch the most swarms? Or do you move them around?
No, I don't move them around. I typically, I put them what looks like a good place to be and, I don't think I put one up that I didn't catch a swarm, quite honestly.
How many swarms have you caught out of the blueberry field?
3 years running and caught 2 swarms there 1 year.
How high is that off the ground?
Yes. It's hanging on a limb that's down low and, it's completely shaded. You can't even see it from the outside of the tree line.
You find any difference between this edge and the, what I would call the front edge?
That's another thing.
Okay.
I always face them from east to south, somewhere in that neighborhood. I try to face them.
I'm talking about the opening,
The opening,
Talk about the size of it.
where you put your opening.
yeah, what about?
Do you find any difference between putting it on this end or facing
No, it doesn't matter.
hot or cold, isn't that what they call it?
Yeah. Yes. Sir. All right, now, after you caught the swarm, well, you should check your swarm trap between a week and 3 weeks. I wouldn't go over 3 weeks between checking. And if you have to go by to check it, and you've got several bees flying around it, you know, that entrance, you might want to come back in a day or two. That scout bees checking it out.
What if you have no bees after 3 weeks? Do you just move the traps around?
No, leave it right there till the swarm season's over. You should have swarm traps up already. And I would say, don't leave them up past 1st of June.
How many people have forms already?
What did he ask? He asked how many people had swarmed already, and I saw 3, 4 hands go up. And one of our members here has already had 2. All right, let's see here. Now, after you caught a swarm, and that's kind of what it looked like when they moved in. There'll be guard bees flying around the entrance of it. And if it's a good big swarm, they may be in this kind of warm, they may be piled up on the outside. Okay, all right, we're gonna go to some different type of places that the swarms have gone. Flower plot. See the one cone they built in there? They think that's the top of a tree line. Now, this is another way to catch a swarm. But let's back up a little bit, and we'll get to that. After you've caught the swarm, it's best to go at dusk. And, I typically use a piece of, hardware cloth or string wire and a piece of duct tape for this kind of hole. And if you do the round hole with the little, they make a little thing that, it's a little round device that you can put over there, and it can, what? Dial, yeah, kind of a dial type thing. And it has a point where it will stop up the hole completely. And, if you got that, then that's good too. And, I
I
find
that's good if you shine like light on bees at night, like if you go out at night, all your bees are in the hive, and like you about to bring this one home. If you shine a white light on them, it pisses them right off. Like,
yes.
if you're gonna bring a friend and have to tell them, look, I'm gonna go near the bees, you just hold this light. They're about to get lit up, but yeah, if you got a red light, use the red forehead light.
Right, yeah. Yeah,
They
that's,
don't like the white light at all.
and, if you caught us, I mean, once the swarm is in there, if you went and there was a few bees flying around, and then you go back in a couple of days and there's a swarm in there, you might want to leave it there a day or too long. What's good is to have, if you see some bees coming in and pollen on them, they're raising brood. Don't leave it there more than a week, because they build and come in a hurry. And, so move it within a week of them getting in there. And, let's see here. And if you get back home and they build a bunch of vacuum cones besides what's in your frames, you can take, and cut that cone out and be conscious of the orientation of it. In other words, you want the top of they typically will build it right here on the top of the cover. So you can take a scraper and scrape that off and keep it whole. Take an empty frame and some rubber bands and put it in the frame. And then put that in the hive. Because the chances are it'll have brood in it and it'll have honey in it, everything they need. So you want to try and save that if possible. And, but that's an easy way to take care of the wacky cone that they build. And, they'll attach that cone and then they'll cut those rubber bands and pull them out of there. You don't have to worry about those. Now, this is catching a swarm that's already in a tree. And Phil Crump and Ron Lassiter and John and I, Phil, who is an arborist, got the roots on it, cut the limb off, and let it down to the ground.
From the ground, get all this.
Yep, get all this to the ground.
It's about 40 feet up. Well, there you go.
Yeah, you can see how high
And
everything.
everything from the ground. And lower them down carefully.
And this is, after it's already been dropped down and they had already built that much cone on it. And, we took that cone and put it in the frame and put it in the hive. See where it was built on the side of the limb up there? All right, here's another easy catch right here. As you can see there, called the gasser hive. Now that's an easy swarm to catch right there. Just take a box. Put a tarp down or something, or in this case, it is so close that you can just set the hive right there. And, the other thing you need, if you want to catch a hive like this, the best thing I found is sugar water in a spray bottle. Go up there and you just gently mist the whole swarm, then put your box under there and either brush them off or shake them off. They'll be so busy licking sugar water off that they won't bother you. And that's the other thing about a swarm. Typically they're not aggressive. After they've been in a hive for a few weeks, then the true nature comes out. They may be either gentle or they could be aggressive.
This dude in the mountains puts it like this, it's like, imagine you're moving with your family, and you got everything you own and you own. If you pull over for gas, it's a knucklehead trying to start something. And normally you hook and run up, but you're like, no. You know, our stuff on a whole bigger mission, you're gonna let it slide, you know what I mean? When they're in the process, it's really hard in this one. They're still possible.
Yep. And then there, John's put them in the hive. And when you catch a swarm like that, it's good to leave the box there a little while and let all those extra bees get in there, or if it's in a situation where you can't, there'll be some that'll have to find you home. But the main thing is if you get the queen in there, the rest of them march them in there. And you can literally see them lined up to get in when the queen's inside. Now, if you got a hive, say, so high up in a tree or something, you know, it's not so high, you gotta have a ladder or anything like that. You have to put out a tarp or blanket, and then mist them with the sugar water, shake them down on the tarp, blanket, but the hive box sitting right there on it. And if you've got some drawn comb in there, they'll find their way in there, and if you can get the queen to go in there, that's the best way to do it. The fellow I got my original beads from, Bill, said that if you get her to march them in there like that, then we'll have to stay instead of forcing them in there. Yeah.
You might mention these two YouTube links. The one, them city bees, is both of these are worth watching. The second one, them city bees, shows John and Nathan taking the comb that was in just hung to the branch of the tree and strapping it to
This right here.
to the frames.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. And if you want to see that done and see how it's done, that videos, I'll show you exactly how to.
Yeah.
I've seen that video, that's interesting.
That was the Friday after Thanksgiving, that picture was taken.
It seems like if people go through the effort to do that, it's going to catch more bees.
Nathan?
Yeah.
Might want to mention about catching swarms and watching them fly away by the time you catch them. Nathan and I chased a swarm down the length of his property line and literally swarm from one tree. And we get all the equipment up under there, just about ladder height, step ladder height. We get the box right under them and we're about ready to shake them in, and then they buzz off, went about 40 feet to the next tree. We got the ladder, walked down to there. I mean, we did that for at least 3 or 4 trees, didn't we?
Yeah.
Did we ever catch that swarm?
I think I ended up, Yeah, I think after about the third or fourth time of trying to catch them, I gave up on them.
And then the one that we lowered with the road, we were so proud of ourselves, all the effort we went through to get those bees down so carefully. Put them in a box, we decided to take a water break, and while we were drinking some water, we watched our bees fly.
One of the big secrets to catching a swarm, if you can get some brood in that hive, they won't leave.
Put a screen in.
Well,
Close them up for a little bit.
yeah, but if the brood is the best way to do it. Put a frame with some brood on it. If you got other hives and you can pull a frame out, we caught one in his house like that this morning. He took a frame of brood from the hive and put it in there and watched the bees in there and they stayed.
Nathan and I built 6 of those boxes right there in less than a day, together. Did we do those
Yeah.
6 at one
Yeah.
time? And I think it's a numbers game. The more swarm boxes you put out, the better chance you're gonna have to catch the swarms.
And there's some more pictures of the city bees. All right, and the next thing is something to help you catch the swarms high up in the trees. And that's it right there. And I got
She's just looking for a block, please.
the only difference in this one and that one up there is this one doesn't quite meet spec. It doesn't have a Home Depot bucket on it.
And it's got gorilla tape on it.
Yeah, and real tape stuff and folks, but, that's.
Like I mentioned before the meeting too, if you get yourself a long branch and you take your bucket about a foot below the branch trigger part, you can get right up there on the branch rack and cut it and the branch will fall into the bucket. So the upgraded new pack petting version,
Yeah.
you've already been out of market.
Now, another improvement there,
Right.
you can
You
get
don't
a,
have that.
if you can get a sprayer for the sugar water, so that when you go up there, you mix it with the sugar water, and then cut them off and drop them in the bucket,
Right.
you're golden.
Bluetooth music is the same.
How tall is that? What, how far out is that?
23 foot.
23 feet?
Yeah.
4 pounds of bees in there? How do you stop them from crashing in the air?
You better not have more than one person help.
Queen goes in the bucket, they're gonna stay with the queen.
Pardon me?
If the queen goes in the bucket, they'll stay with the queen.
Yep.
I'm saying, how do you keep them from crashing? Seems like that, well, it gets off.
Yeah, when you get up that high,
That is-
I think John said you, was it, 3 pounds of beans is like, you're handling about, 150 pounds or something like that at that height. There's some, yep. Yeah, there's this what I was talking about adding to it. See here. There is supposed to be a video in this right here. Yeah, okay. Let's see, let me go a little bit. Okay. All right, any other questions? Oh, okay, yep. There's the bucket being put in use. Yeah,
We'll keep going. Down, right there, go next to the percent.
there you go.
There you go.
Yeah, we'll start over.
Most of y'all know Beekeepers. Brushy Mountain is a bee company that used to be in business, and they did have one that you could buy already pre-made.
Oh, okay. It took him about 5 truckloads. How many tries, John?
I think we put,
A lot to get Queen in there. That's the other thing about Queen, she can hang on better than any of the worker bees.
We should do bucket at first.
How many squirts do you caught with that method? Seems like you take the handle off of it too for that, so it's not slapping.
I haven't ever caught any like that.
Traps are easier.
Yeah, traps are a lot easier. You got total control of the trap. And I think y'all have a, see the front page, this checklist. Last pages. And once you catch a swarm, you need to already have a high box and the frames and all that ready to go. Okay, and how to catch a random swarm. The minimum items you need are a spray bottle, some sugar water, smoker or brush. I prefer the sugar water myself. That calms them down. That works even better than a smoker. But if you don't have the spray bottle, smoker will work. Some undrawn frames. Or use this one. If you put the tarp down and if you can find the queen, you can kind of help her get into the hive. When she walks in the hive, the rest of them follow her. Be sure. And you've got swarm catch bucket, we just saw. And hive or new frames, drawn if available. Queen splitter is required to prevent the queen from leaving. If you're able to get some food in there, you want to put out the queen leaving. And screen cover, that's another thing. Don't cover the holes up with something solid because you need to get air. best to have some screen or some type of, open.
You vent that?
Do what?
Do you vent that?
No, I don't. So that's another reason for using one like this. To
There's,
have,
there's enough air that goes through there without.
yeah.
I put a vent up at the top.
I never have.
Being in the shade.
Yeah, that's another thing, they're in the shade.
Yeah.
So,
Good point.
and then a ratchet strap to, once you take it down off the tree. Way I've done mine is just take it to the floor, put it like that. Put it half in two. Mount that to the tree. Simple and easy to take down and and it'll be tight enough to the tree. Chances are you might want to put a block of wood. You've done, put a block down there and keep just kind of sitting on the tree.
Mark it which way you put it up. I put them up backwards. They won't hang on that.
No, they won't. Yeah.
If you don't have a block of wood there, there's a stick from the ground, it's fine. That's what I did this time. We made this last post.
And, when you're ready to take them out, you probably should have some empty frames and some rubber bands to hold the cone. Vacuum cones, if you leave it there too long, it will be close to the vacuum cone. All right, any other questions? Yes, sir.
Do you keep the bees after you cut them? Do you feed them after you cut them?
You can, typically, a swarm hive they have enough, honey to last them for a while, and they will start building comb immediately, and also to start gathering honey to put in. They start a new house, so they're quick to go get resources.
How far does storms travel from the original hive to
The first landing is within 50 feet typically, and then they go find their next, where their permanent home is. I think it's been said they keep it within 2 miles or something like that. Is that about right, Ron? Yeah. Something like that.
I had that one that flew down there in the nursery to the cedar tree across the creek, and then took off. I chased as far as I could, gave up when I went back, continued working the hives. Then came back and landed in the above it was 50 feet from where I was working. Just like, they got up to another swarm, I don't know where it is.
Hard to say. All right, thank you. More questions? That's it. Who are?
I don't know if I have a question, I just like to share some information. I've studied swarms for quite a while. I've written published articles in the American Bee Journal called Consequences of the Swarm. This is published. My name is Ed Baylor. I'm a master beekeeper. What I found interesting about swarming was somebody asked, how do these bees decide where they're going to swarm? There was a professor back at the University of Munich in Germany called Von Fisch. And he was the one that was studying bee activity on swarm clusters.
in beehives. And he's the one that discovered the beacons and how it was used by a beehive to locate honey sources, by direction and distance. He actually won a Nobel Prize for it. He had a student called Martin Landau. Martin Landau had his PhD under the tutelage of von Fish. He came back to the United States and he did a lot of research on swarming. And he also decided that, bees, he started to track the activity of bees in looking for a suitable site. And he took the time and by noting, he adopted the von Fish model for foraging to house hunting. Now, it's a different type of scout bee that does it. Scout bee for honey doesn't necessarily become scout bee for house hunting, for hive location. So what he did was he decided he traced and tracked all the activity in a particular hive, and he would go out and there might be 150 scout bees trying to determine the perfect location. So he would take the number of bees going to these different locations and count them. And he would do it at different time intervals, and he would determine that, well, they've lost interest in the hive that's northwest. And there's more of them now going to the southern site. And he would do that until after about 4 days on average, they would take off and go to that site, at least to a bivouac site. Bivouac site is where you'll see the tree. Now they'll still be doing scouting, just to confirm that, and then they will reach a consensus, and then they will go to that site. Martin Landau went to teach at Dartmouth. At Dartmouth, Tom Seeley, that we mentioned earlier, became a famous entomologist at Cornell University with his PhD. And he wrote the American, Honeybee Democracy, among other books. In the Honeybee Democracy, it's quite an elaborate book, and it talks about every nuance that these bees look for, in the hive. Height off the ground, opening of the hive, volume of the hive, location of the hive, distance from the original primary hive. All these different attributes are in this book. It's about 200 pages long. Martin Landau went to Dartmouth, and that's where Tom Seeley became tutored by him when he was going to become a chemist. But he always was fascinated with bees. To the point where he finally went to Cornell and got his PhD there in bees. And that's where he wrote part of his, study on bees and swarming. He eventually wrote the book on swarming. And he's still a professor emeritus at Cornell.
We'll get you a copy. Thank you, Nate. Very good.
Anything you want to mention the French Creek, all of that, such a simple thing, the French Creek, the way that works? Oh, you did know that?
Yeah.
Okay. Even me, all the houses I've built and stuff, I was like, that's so simple, but it's like, I never heard of it. Like, I'm using that for everything. They make, there's a whole TV up on the walls.
So there is a name for that. French Creek. Okay. So, how many of you are ready to go get your swarms now? Okay. So, the next thing on our agenda is the farm report. It's Alex. He's our agricultural extension agent. I'll turn it over to him.
So for the first time in like 4 months, I can say more than it's just really freaking cold outside. I did a lot of great job controlling the weather this year, and we've got strawberries that are starting to bloom, and hopefully strawberry season will be a pretty good hit again this year like it was last year. It all depends on what the weather looks like it's going to do, considering it's supposed to be 35 tonight, I believe. But strawberries are getting started, blueberries are short behind, peaches, all that stuff starting to get in the works, blooms are starting to form, and buds are starting to open. So we can start moving forward with some of those crops here in Johnston County and around the rest of the state. So that's all I have to say.
How far ahead is it to our degree days?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I don't keep up with degree days a whole lot. I'm more worried about testing hours than I am degree days. Degree days, if anyone's wondering, it's there's a set point that's considered the average, which is like 55, I believe, and you basically measure the degrees difference over the course of the day. And then you're growing degree days, and you look at those a lot when you're looking at flower and ornamentals, and trees, and shrubs, and those sorts of things. I don't deal with those as much, so I don't know. That'd be more of a Marshall Warren question. If you haven't met Marshall, he's the other horticulture agent here. He does all of the ornamentals and landscaping, turf, and all of those things. Please don't ask me about your grass. I don't know. But are there any other questions? All right, well, hopefully we'll get some warm weather and a little bit more rain.
Thank you, sir. Okay. So we're going to go down into the announcements. How many of you want to be certified beekeepers but are not certified by the state? Okay. Let you know that I'm administering the exam, the written part, Thursday night at JCC. We usually start about 7 o'clock, right? So if you could be there maybe 5 or 10 minutes till 7. I think we had some space for an extra 10 people. So let me know if you're going to come. That way I know to bring extra tests for you. And I have a little handy dandy notebook to write your name down. So next on our agenda.
If you're coming, go ahead and sign up tonight, because I'm gonna offer the empty spaces to 5 counties. So, come and make sure you sign up.
Want to sign up tonight?
And that way, if people need to be tested, they can come.
Yes. Oh, something about the swarms. When you signed up to join our club, there was a place to check whether you will be notified for swarms that you go capture. Not necessarily for the swarm trap, but the capture swarm. Be sure that you're on that list if you're interested. Okay. Next on our agenda is our bank balance. Last year was very active, and one of our members was very generous to us last year with the honey. So our balance is $10,116.22. So that's fairly high compared to prior years. I remember when I first joined, we usually would get about $1,000 in there, bring it back down to about $300 by the end of the year. So we're financially stable. So we have several club speaking opportunities. Watkins Chapel Baptist Church. There's 4-H Hidden Acres Club. Master Gardener Pet Sale, Future Farmers of America, Biblical Battleground. You can see those 3 are all, the last 3 are on the same day.
We also have an opportunity to host a table once a month at the Tractor Supply on 42. Set up a local bees and sell our honey and talk about bees but we need people to man the table.
Everybody hear that? Okay. So either see me or John, if you're interested in helping. As most clubs, you're probably familiar with maybe 100 people being in there and a
core about 15 or 20 who are always involved in all the activities. We would like to see more faces. That way, us older people know that we have people coming up that can replace us. So, also, there's gonna be an apiary inspection March 21st. That goes from 11 until 1. And if you're new to the club, the apiary is right behind the building here. And if anybody's working on their journeyman or master's level beekeepers, and you'd like to do a club presentation because you've got to do activities to earn that next level above certification, let Terry Richards know. She's in the back. She's our program director. Okay.
And I want to make it, respect to that. Adam right now is working on putting up a certified level, presentation that the State Beekeepers Association has along with the student guide. And it should be up, tonight for the documents. You'll have to sign in. It's restricted to members only. But this from the State Beekeepers Association. And you can study that, help you study for the certified beekeepers test. We're working on the journey. I will get that up to have in the next few days. And now, so if you're working on the journey, you'll have the information there too. So, if you have any questions, see me after the meeting.
Okay. So future programs, in April, we're gonna have Bee School follow-up question and answer session. So if any of you are familiar with last year, in April, we kind of targeted people who had attended our one-day class, but everyone's invited to come and ask questions, offer opinions. We have like 8 to 10 expert panel that'll sit up here and answer questions. It's a chance for members to ask questions. Usually it's new beekeepers who won't know the stuff, but I've been keeping bees 17 years, and I probably still can ask some questions, but I don't know the answers to it. So that's what's planned for April. Then in May, one of our members, Jason Burke back here, there he is. That's the song he was back here. He's going to be giving a presentation on drones and honeybee drones, not drone. But
Wait, honey drones? Bees?
honeybees.
Okay.
It's okay. Oh, I apologize, whatever. I opened tonight. I didn't introduce myself. I'm Al Hilbert, and John and I are co-presidents. So that's why you might wonder who this guy is up here if you've already met John. So next on the agenda is, let's see, Rick or Hannah? Apiary report. Would you like to go through for Mike or?
So on Saturday, we had an apiary inspection, we had a lot of people come out, and we are working on getting all of our queens down into the food chamber. We need queen scooters and we want queen scooters on top. We're gonna be doing more of the same on Thursday, except on Thursday, we have caught a storm in the short track of the apiary, so we're gonna be going over how to move that into a mid-sized box. So if you're interested in that, come to the apiary inspection on Thursday. So we're just getting ready for it. Like all that honey, you can clean down with face away.
Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Rick. Both of those members do a lot of work behind the scenes that you don't normally see. Next on the agenda is Beekeepers report. That's John. Would you like to come up here?
No, I'm gonna shout. Okay, first thing I wanna ask is, Al, there's some light test kits up there. Would you hold them up, hold one and hold it up? How many people do not have a light test kit? Okay, Al, if you make sure those people get one. You don't want one, or?
I was 5 to 8 years, maybe still.
right here. Okay, I want to do, shout out to the people that have done some school speaking. That includes, Rick Ivy, who did school recently. Hannah, who homeschool, I think. Russell, where are you at, Russell? He spoke at the schools. Also, I want to pick on Russell. He bottled 117 pounds of honey for us that we, he helped labeling stuff. So you come see me if you can help label. I want to thank Evan Jennings for selling us the honey. Appreciate it. And your buckets have showed up. Okay? Your buckets have showed up. Oh, thank you. Okay. And then I want to thank Donna and May for coming out last Saturday and Nancy Garber's and them selling honey and doing outreach. So we had a lot of people participate in things. And your Gay Prairie managers, they do a lot of hard work. You don't imagine what they do for free, but they're out there throughout the week a lot of times. So, Beekeepers Corner, you know, I've got 2 swarms the past 2 weeks. One of them saw Ann and I using the bucket to try to get it down out of the tree. You need to go through your hives and see if you got swarm cells in there. You need to decide what you're going to do when you find them. You need to make sure there's room in there and the queen's not coming honey down. And you got your supers and your queen excluder on, and if your queen is below the excluder. And you got to decide, if you find the queen cells, what are you going to do? It's recommended that you move the queen out and let the queen cells, you know, develop and new queens come out. I'd recommend tearing down all 2 or 3. The red maple bloom is ended. Some of the hives are really tight on storage, especially honey and nectar, because they're raising so much brood, and the canes in particular. So make sure your hive is not running out of food. This is one of those hives due to lack of resources. I'm expecting mites to be bad, particularly on the cane colonies because of the warm winter. They had brood when they were in winter. Even in 3 days, they not done much good. There was a lot of brood in the hive. Okay, now Nathan was talking about swarms. Other people were talking about swarms. If you get a swarm and you want them to draw frames out, now's the time to do it. Feed them less than 1 to 1. In other words, more water than sugar. And they'll draw, and they'll draw fast. I got a swarm 2 weeks ago, and they've drawn almost 8 frames of foundation in 2 weeks. So they're in that mode. So if you feed them, they'll move on. You need to renew your hives with drift watch. We have cards back here. If you all have one, get one. It gives you the Healthy Honeybee Coalition website, the decision tree. And next one is the bee check, where you can register with drift watch. Inside is the state bee inspector. These are all QR codes. And then your bee numbers. You need to learn your bee numbers, because you can't manage bee hives if you don't know your bee numbers. It's really important. And then on the back, there's 3 clubs involved in this QR codes. Make sure you get 1 or 2. Take what you need. I updated the bee numbers to include mite numbers in the report. You should have gotten this electronically. If someone didn't get an agenda tonight, I only made 35, so some people may not have got it. Got any questions? We've got plenty of time.
Okay. Jason would like to say something.
So for those of you who are on the swarm list, You should have gotten a text message in the past 10 minutes to confirm that you're on the list. If you did not receive a text message within the past 10 minutes, then you are not on the list, and you may want to bring that up with Adam.
Jason, the midnight guy.
Well, yeah, please go by the window. Everybody go stand by the window.
Don't worry about your pants.
Don't panic. Don't panic.
You a little more than 10 minutes, man.
Hey, anyone's here, we can get you the password for the, external members, Wi-Fi in this building. It's not some super, not some secret.
We got like 4 laminated cards at home, so we're not doing a good job keeping it a secret. If anybody ever needs it, feel free to ask John, he knows where it is, I think, or ask me.
It's Sky King 310B with the S and the K and the B capitalized. If anybody was from the 60s, remember Sky King, that's what it was. So, it's not really hard.
Well, these people might not have been born until after 2000.
Sky King 310B. S, K, and B. No spaces.
Okay, another announcement. Did everybody go get their tickets? Anybody, we're raffling a new cost tonight. It's fun.
Let me do one other thing. I want to do one more shout out. This gentleman right here
Adam.
makes everything run. Adam Pendergrass. I don't know how many times a week I talk to him. All your electronic communication comes through Adam. He's holding a full-time job down and doing like this with our stuff. Plus, he's managing all his beehives. So I'd like to get a hand of applause for Adam.
Thank you, Adam. Good job. Okay, so next thing on the agenda is the mood raffle. If you would like to get into the raffle, it's $5 for a ticket, or you get for $20, you get 5 tickets. I guess they're coming from our apiary in the back. Everybody, you don't know that one? It looks like it, right?
Ticket is, last 3 digits, 071. 071. Is that out?
Thank you, Adam. I can always use more beach. Once you get one nod, you start getting the pictures. It's kind of, I don't know if it's like cocaine or anything, but it's, I can only imagine. Okay.
I got an issue with Al, so.
Was John's coming in for something else?
I want Phil to talk to you about buckets. And you'll understand why once he talks to you.
Some of you may know that, I had a, major ecological disaster at our workshop this year, where, I lost about 88 pounds of honey to a bucket failure, 2 bucket failures. And I researched the, subject, because there's no reason why these buckets should have failed, in my opinion. And there's a phenomenon called, environmental stress cracking, and it's been known since the 30s, basically since plastics came into everyday use. And so I put all my honey, I had 20 5-gallon buckets of honey, and each one was filled about the 4-gallon mark, pretty much, some a little less. And they crystallized, and I was warming them up in a box that Nathan and I built. We built a box each to warm it in, and I was warming it at about 105 degrees, and 2 of my buckets just cracked in the bottom of the bucket. Literally the center of the bucket on the bottom just split right across from one side to the next. 8 gallons of honey ran out in my box. I go to check my honey, I lift the door, open it, and Niagara Falls rolls out on the floor. And I didn't know what to do, I just wanted to slap the door back in. My wife came over, asked me what I was gonna do. I said, I'm gonna wash the honey off my boots, which I haven't done yet, and my pants, and take a shower and go to bed. I was so disgusted, I wanted to cry. And anyway, so more complex subject than y'all want to hear about, but basically, I've talked to bucket manufacturers. There can be a number of reasons why this can occur, and one of which was pretty interesting to me was it can all start in the manufacturing process. So if they're in a hurry to make buckets at the factory, and they start cooling them down too quick to pull them out of the mold, they can initiate a stress crack in that bucket, and you can't see. It's not a crack all the way through. It's just it's an alignment of the molecules of the plastic that sets you up for disaster from day one. And so usually when these buckets fail, they're not failing under maximum usage limits, like the high temperature or if you drop the bucket or something like that. It's just something that happens in time. And it's really strange in a lot of ways. So what I did was I went to Lowe's and I bought about 20, 30 buckets, because that's where I thought everyone was getting their buckets. But it turns out that Lowe's evidently maybe has gone from 90 mil buckets, which is the thickness of the, in thousandths of an inch of the bucket walls, to a 70 mil bucket. So you're getting the same high density polyethylene bucket with the tube number on the bottom of it, but it's significantly thinner. And
I checked one of the buckets one day, and every bucket they had was 70 mil bucket.
right, exactly. So, but at one point, I think they were selling 90 mil buckets. And I went to Home Depot to do the same. So my recommendation to you is to seek out someone who has some experience with the buckets that they're either selling or using, and ask them if they've had problems with them before you just go buy the buckets. I definitely wouldn't buy them from Lowe's or Home Depot right now.
Get 90 mil buckets.
Yeah, I'd get 90 mil buckets for sure. So I just don't want this to happen to anybody else. I mean, these were the 2 buckets of my very dearest and best honey that I knew I was going to get a premium dollar for. And I'm still getting it up off the floor of my shop with cat litter, sucking it up after. Luckily it got cold in my shop, and I was shoveling it up with when it recrystallized with a flat shovel, and that was heartbreaking enough. But now I'm still trying to suck it up out of the floorboards and everything else. So.
Is the age of the bucket significant?
These were brand new buckets. They weren't even a year old, so they just failed catastrophically. And I noticed that later on that when I was, I had one bucket and I put a bucket warmer on, and when I went to set it up on the kitchen counter to bottle it, the bottom had bowed just enough that the bucket wouldn't even sit flat on the counter. I noticed another bucket that the bottom was distorted in multiple places, like it didn't bow completely, it just bowed in one spot. And that has to be something that occurred in the manufacturing process. So this can happen when they're making buckets and it's hot in the summertime, the factory gets hot, and they aren't allowing enough time for these buckets to cool because the guy in the front office wants to see so many buckets an hour being produced, and they're not cooling them down slow enough and long enough to keep this from happening. So I found a manufacturer, I believe in Ohio, I think it's called 3W. And there's a 2 brothers and a sister operation, and they say they're particularly keen on that situation. So that may be one place I'm also thinking about going to smaller buckets, Cause I'm 70, and I've got a torn rotor cuff, and getting, 4 gallons of honey up this high to pour into another bucket, getting rough on me, so. Anyway, that's it.
As St. Paul's Episcopal Church in Smithfield they're so grateful to our donations that we make once a month. And so much so that they appreciate us and have mentioned us in their Sunday bulletin for their church services. So I just want to let you know. Thank you. I guess the meeting is adjourned.
Sit down. Okay, everybody still got.
So because Al has 700 hives already, we decided to conduct another drawing for you. So pull out your tickets, and if your last 3 digits are 052, raise your hand. Woo!
This is your policy that if you're a board member, you don't participate practice. So, yeah, I do know that's something. But to resolve fuel problems, if you need buckets, I have many buckets.
Before everybody leaves, if you could please take the chairs and push them to the edges of the room. Just the chair. Just the chair. Yes, the tables have to come up. The round tables, the rectangles can stay out.